I'm E.
I'm Rob.
I'm EP, the Hellcat Abstract Mindstate, the female half.
I'm Olskool Ice-Gre. You know what I'm saying? The good doctor, the male half.
Welcome to the next movement, folks.
Young world, can I pass this torch on? It's kinda dark, I'm trying to turn that light on a porch on. Don't wanna see another black mother whose son gone from simply hating, repping the hood or retaliation. All of this and making millions at 17. I'm from the golden era, that's something we never seen. It's so beautiful and well overdue. But money ain't the reason that I wrote this to you. My hope is elevate your consciousness. Let go the ego and recognize the work that led to getting sponsorship. Don't lose it all trying to back up that talk. Live out the raps, gotta sleeping next to the rats, literally. This figure of speech far from figuratively. Heavy on my spirit, deep within me. I'm speaking from a sincere place, far from envy. Now give this to your favorite DJ for the remedy.
Young world, it's all yours. We only shedding this light to open doors. The whole purpose of life is to live it. So let's get more. One time, two times, it's yours.
Abstract Mindstate, thank y'all so much for joining us. This is an honor.
Oh man, thanks.
Absolutely. So let's just dive on in. Y'all have a new project, which is incredible. It's called the Art
Thank
Project.
you.
Yeah. Yes. And we want to dive
aim
into.
to please, E. We aim to please.
And you did. Me and Rob were discussing this, before y'all jumped on and just talked about how much we enjoyed it and are still enjoying it. So yeah, thank you for this. Thank you for coming on and talking about it, and thank you for putting it out. So I want to talk about just some of the inspiration, behind the album. So folks can't see this obviously, but the cover of the Art Project is this abstract painting, which looks like it's hanging in some sort of art museum, right? So like that's the cover of the Art Project. And Gree, you've said that this cover is a metaphor that speaks to how rare and important Abstract Mindstate's music is. And and as you pointed out, with any abstract piece, some will understand it immediately, some later, and some never at all. So I'm wondering a couple of questions around this. For the folks who fall into the latter category, the folks that might never understand it at all, what do you think would prevent them from connecting to this project?
A closed mind. A closed mind would definitely prevent anybody from digesting abstract mind state music. Just looking for something specific or being one-sided with your hip hop, where you may say, man, I only want to hear that street, this, or I only want to hear, some club pop and stuff. But if you open your mind and accept or just be, just be okay with hearing a variety of topics or going on a roller coaster ride of, of fun-filled lyrics and storytelling from the foundation, then you will really love abstract mind state. But that's, just directly to your question, a closed mind would definitely prevent those from ever understanding us.
We always have said that the only problem with us not being a household name is the fact that people haven't heard us. We were so surprised when we released our last project. One of the main things that surprised us was the age group of who supported. It was crazy. So from that we took it, maybe if people actually heard our music, it wouldn't be so hard to jump the bridge or to grasp something different than the regular saturated drill, all of that different music that to me, everybody, it's reality for some people, but it's the reality is negative, right? So if people actually got to hear differences of opinion, rather with any kind of art, if people actually got to venture out and experience different stuff, then they would learn from it. And 9 times out of 10, you may find something within a project or any type of art that you can gravitate towards. But when you don't hear it and you're not exposed to it, you can't say I like it or I don't. You have to actually hear it first. And I think that's always been a stumbling block for abstract. Just the masses being able to consume it and then be like, okay, much like you and Rob did, like, wait a minute, this is,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I'm sure when people hear what presently, if they hear anything that we've done now or previous to this project, the first thing a trained mind would do is go back and listen to other stuff, right? That we did. And the first thing coming in mind, like, oh shit, they've been doing, they've been down for a minute and they've been doing
Man.
it the exact same way. Like the formula hasn't changed.
Yeah, and I'll come back to that later about just folks not being familiar with your work on a larger scale.
Yes.
But just to continue down the path that we're already on, I have a follow-up question around this. We're sort of living in this age where everybody has an opinion on everything. Everybody has an interpretation on everything.
Man.
Yes.
So I started to wonder, if we're talking about this idea around people not getting your art, understanding it for whatever reason, I wondered if that is almost a blessing sometimes. Do you think, like this lack of understanding can sometimes protect the integrity of the work and prevent it from being interpreted in a way that you didn't intend for it to be?
Oh, I definitely believe that because just speaking directly I had so many conversations with various types of friends, just from college buddies to my industry buddies to my everyday buddies. And all we talk about is the social media has allowed too many people to have an opinion. And you know how they say it's a saying that goes, everybody has their own opinion. Well, because of social media, I feel like everybody doesn't deserve to have their own opinion because you have people that give very strong opinions or comments on something that they have no knowledge on. They haven't done the knowledge. They haven't studied it. They don't know much about it, but they catch a 30-second soundbite, and this happened to us. Matter of fact, it's the Sway interview. We were on Sway's Universe on Sway in the Morning. And I saw a couple of comments and EP was giving her Sway asked EP a direct question directly to her. It wasn't general. He said, EP, specifically, how do you feel about, something to the effect of
Content over art.
Yeah, content over art. And some of the responses, like it was a lot of positive responses, but some of the responses was like, oh, that's this and that's that and the third. They had all these negative responses, but I was like, I wanted to jump in, but it's something I know the rule. You can't get yourself caught in that winding road of arguing with people online. So I just didn't say nothing. But I get to say it here. And I wanted to say, man, listen to the interview because they were trying to address it. The people who did comment negative were trying to address it like she was asking a general question. But I'm like, if you watched more than that 30-second clip, that was her own direct question from Sway. It wasn't the question to the masses. And they tried to respond to it like she was answering for everybody. She was answering for how she felt about content over art. And I agree with what she was saying. I feel the same way. But
And so, go ahead.
It was her question, and I was so upset because it was taking everything in me not to respond to these people. And I just really wanted to say, dude, go listen to the whole interview because you're responding like this was some kind of question for the masses. He asked EP, how does she feel? So anyway, and that's my problem with opinions.
Yeah. So for me, thank you for the defense, partner, my PC, my partner in rhyme. So, but like I would actually say the opposite. You know how they say all press is good press? Like if you can, of course I'm not gonna go back and forth, and I'm not the person that I was 5 years ago or even 5 minutes ago, right? So one of the things that didn't bother me about it was the fact that everybody is supposed to have an opinion. Maybe everybody shouldn't have a platform to express it, especially if it's divisive. But this is the thing with social media. This is why it's a double-edged sword. I did not mind because I'm sure the people who said something about the question Tracy asked me, I'm sure that for every 1,000 people that agree with me, it's probably 1,000 that agree with him. So okay, for the sake of not arguing, the debate is fine. I have no problem with the debate at all. I was happy to see somebody not just, or a couple of people not just, riding along. Like, because that stirs debates. That makes people sit up and say, well, girl said this, abstract, this how they feel about this how they feel about that. Okay, talk about us because that's what we've been missing. So I didn't mind the comments. That's why I didn't come. I kept looking at it. I didn't say anything. I'm like, it kind of made me smile. I was like, okay, he's entitled to feel like that, but it's not going to change the way I feel about content versus art. It's not going to change my opinion about it. It's just, and he might have changed some minds. Maybe in the beginning of the interview, somebody felt the way I felt about it. But then, his argument swayed them, no pun intended. But, so I just, yeah, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. Like all news is good news at this, like if people checking for us, and if some of the things because honestly, that's what we try to do in our music, make people think and change opinions or find out what other opinions are. So that was fine with me. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about music, and that's why I love making the music we make. But in direct response to your question, which was, about everybody, social media has made everybody an expert. And because like you guys, so the difference between EP and I is I spend a lot of time online like you guys, because you have a platform. So I already know without knowing you guys spend a lot of time online. I spend a whole lot of time online. So with that being said, I know how opinions, overly opinionated people can sway things, because I spend so much time online and watched how destructive social media has become. So I'm speaking directly to that, and I'm sure you know exactly what I'm saying when I say that. I'm speaking just to that, like, oh man, like everybody's a doctor. You know what I'm saying? You go to, it's like, come on, man, and my thing is, man, you haven't put in any hours at school. You don't know anything about the medical profession, but you gonna speak on this topic. And just because you can have an opinion, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, man, no, you don't deserve an opinion. I would rather hear an opinion from a registered nurse, you know what I'm saying? Or someone in the medical field, except for your homegrown opinion, just because the platform allows you to jump in with medical doctors and have your opinion. I think it's ridiculous.
It's a little out of control. And honestly, that's what inspired that question.
Yeah, I know. That's why I knew how, yeah, out of control. So I was speaking directly to that,
Yeah.
Still got each other's backs after all these years. I love to hear it. I want to go back to the art project. I listened to the record, of course. And I knew y'all were from Chicago. Pretty early into the album, I found myself doubting that. I thought, wait, are they from Detroit? I think they must be.
Hey, shout out to young RJ.
No.
That's that sound.
Yeah, that's the Detroit soul. There is a difference between Chicago soul and Detroit soul. And like I say often, that I enjoy saying, we got to swim in a Detroit soul pool this time around. It was fun. It wasn't our regular pool.
Yeah, you sound at home. Like, it sounds like an organic.
Oh, listen, and that's Rob. That's one of the main things that I think made the songs pop like they did. There was no effort. Like you know how if you have never worked with anybody in any facet, like you've never worked with anybody, it takes a minute. What we call it in ABA, we call it pairing, right? When you have to pair, a kid with autism with their BT and stuff. So that it took us no time to pair with young RJ, because like I think that Slum and Abstract, not to compare the groups at all, but the vision is the same, to just make good soul hip hop that resonates with more than one group of people. And because that like-mindedness was there, it was effortless. It was effortless. So sitting down at the boards with young RJ was like, it was fun. And I will say this, I haven't participated in a album process that's been actually fun in years.
Yeah,
This was actually
since
this
probably
is
our
because
early work or something. Yeah.
it's always been like because even when we were in school, I'm gonna take y'all back. Even when we were in school, it started off so fun, but then it became like this is how we're gonna live. So as soon as you start changing something into a job, then the pressure comes. This is me. Like the pressure comes, whether you love doing it or not. Even if you love doing it, the pressure comes because that's all you love doing. Like so you have to make it a success, which puts the pressure on, right? But with this project, with the art project, we had already gone out on tour with Slum Village, and this had already happened. This had already happened. So when I say effortless and enjoyable, it was just like I had sat down with somebody I've known for years in old school. He's already known young RJ prior to me meeting him. They've already, were friends, but I had never met him. So for me, it was for Greg, of course, it was effortless for him, because they've already known each other. But for me, even much because I had never even met him. I always listened to Slum, but I never met him. But sitting down to the boards and eating at the table, and you know what I mean, it was a breeze. It was a breeze. So much so we got so many songs left. We got so many songs left that didn't make the art project. Me and Old School, we kind of had a bumping of heads because I wanted a longer album. Like he was like, "You can't give them everything. We can't give them everything." So we still got some bangers out there, Rob and E. We still got some bangers.
Okay.
Yeah, that connection that you're talking about really comes through on the record. I mean, I knew you guys had been on tour. In my mind, I'm like, oh, they really must have connected because it's coming through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then young RJ has the same I don't know if you want to call it sense of humor, a sense of silly, but we always been a group that we used to drive some of our earlier producers crazy because we crack jokes. We like, we always plan and we got so many things from the past that we that can trigger like jokes and only we know what we talking about. But RJ was like almost like if we was on the surfboard, he jumped on the surfboard. If we jump on the skateboard, he jumped on the skate. He was right with us all through it. So that's where that fun kicked in because it didn't even feel like, it didn't feel like. And then another thing, one of the biggest things with Abstract is we always, up until the last album, the album before this one as well, the last two albums were the first time we wasn't racing against the clock or, trying to be so perfect and fighting against the clock because we knew we're paying for time and we can't mess around. We got to get in here, knock this out, get out. That's how it was with every album we recorded up until the last one. And then even this one was even better because it wasn't any of the pressures that came along with the last album. That just didn't exist. It was just
the
like
pressure of a Kanye produced album.
Yeah, just
the pressure because
him
Kanye
being
is
who he is.
he dope as hell, so he's a mad scientist with it, right?
Yeah,
So
and him
he
being
want
who he is,
perfection. So the
Yeah.
pressure was on to create something that not only we agree with, but he agreed with because
Yeah.
his name was on it.
Yeah. And then I'm speaking from an even wider circle, like the circus that's around him all the time. It wasn't like that with young RJ. It's like the world got blocked out and it was us three. You know what I mean? And we just got out.
Yeah, I just kind of want to echo what y'all are saying. As soon as I started listening to this, like it sounded like RJ had created this very comfortable, familiar space for both of you because it feels like you're just being yourself. And I think one of the best things about his production highlights your chemistry together. That is one of the best things about you, in my opinion. And you can really feel that on this project. So shout out to him for what he did. And it sounds like he just, one of the most important things was just making you all feel comfortable.
Yeah. And the space in this track. I remember him saying throughout the process, he would constantly bring up, in some of our conversation, at least he would say, man, I thought about y'all when I was making this, or You know, he said, first of all, he said, we give him, I want to say it was either De La Soul energy or something like that. So he said he put himself in the mode and making the tracks for us like he had to produce for De La. So you get what I'm saying? Because he said that was the kind of energy that our music gave him, which is a compliment because that happened to be my favorite group in hip hop. So he was making tracks with us, you know, definitely with us in mind. You know what I mean? It was a couple he had. It was a couple that he already had. And he said, hey, how y'all feel about this? And when he played it, we either like, nah, or whoa, that's crazy, you know. But the majority of the record was him coming back saying, all right, check this out. I did this, I did that. So what you're hearing and to hear you comment, I'm flattered and I'm glad because it sounds like y'all actually listen. And that's all we ever want. We just want those ears, man, and y'all actually listen. So I can tell from your response, critique, opinions that you listen to it.
And that's the best part.
Opinion. Yeah, I can take any opinion. You can say something terrible if you actually listen. Because I got a strong heart. You can diss the whole record. But if you can give me details, I'm into it. Like, okay, I understand now.
And that goes back to what I said earlier about like if people actually get a chance to listen to it, I'm not, patting the mind state, but they're gonna like it. Not because it's just a great hip hop album, which it is, but it's also so far away from what everybody is doing right now, and it's still good. Like it's not so far away that it's weird. That's the word. It's not so far away that it's weird and crazy space shit, like like Prodigy said. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not so far that it's weird. It's just so far off the beaten path right now that like they like, oh man, it's cool. I can relax to this. This is not like I had a couple of people to inbox me and DM me, like a few people, not a couple. They actually work out to it. Like that's the first time I got that. Like they work out to it. People, drive to work, so do you want to drive to work listening to Mob? Listening to drill music, or do you want to ride to work listening to some Mind State? You know what I mean? Like because music supposed to put you in some kind of mood. And I guess it depends on what mood you want to be in. But if you're not exposed to so many different things, you're gonna stay in that one damn mood. You're gonna be in that one mood. Go, 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 go. You're not gonna know what it is to just sit back and like my partner says, get into that pocket and be like, okay. This is cool. I can let my kids hear this and they'll like it. And it's dope.
Yeah. Absolutely.
With the previous album, 2021's Dream Still Inspired, there was a clear narrative. Like y'all are alluding to this, but there was a clear narrative surrounding that project, right? Mainly the fact that you're reuniting after so many years.
Yes.
Focused on that. There's Kanye's role in it. Okay. Now you've done that. You've got back to You've dusted off the notebooks. You've gone through the process of writing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Was it at all challenging to find the new narrative, so to speak, for this latest project?
I guess I say for me, it wasn't hard simply because the whole career of Abstract Mindstate has been topic-driven songs. It's just we're coming now with topics from a kind of like what Andre 3000 questioned. That was the big thing when people were like, we all want to hear Andre. We all want to hear him. But Andre made a comment that said, man, I'm 40-something years old. What am I going to rap about now? Well, Abstract rapped about the things that we can rap about at that age. And to me, it just kind of grew with us. Because at the time when we were making our first few records, whatever was going on and whatever was moving the needle and was happening in the world, we spoke on it at that time. So all we did was gave a more mature, more experienced perspective this time around. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it wasn't hard because it was just like getting back to those topics. And like you just said, we had already got the motor started again with Dream Still Inspired. So coming to the art project, I guess you could say we cruising now. Now we got the car on cruise control and we just gotta, what's the conversation? Let's get into it.
To that end, I read an interview that y'all did with Cabbage's Hip Hop a couple of years ago. Shout out to Gary. You did an interview with Cabbages around the time Dream Still Inspire was coming out, and the two of you talked about writing together again after so much time away. And EP, I really respected how open you were in that interview about how you felt like you kind of needed to follow Gree's lead, so to speak, trying to get back in the groove of writing. And I wondered if that felt different with the art project, if the process felt different, if the dynamic may have changed at all.
So the main thing was the topics have always been old school driven. Like he would come up with the topics that we would discuss, and most of the hooks, like 90% of the hooks. And not that he ever made me feel like I didn't have an opinion about it, but that's just nothing I want to be involved with. I just want to spit, like honestly. And sometimes I'm still right there. Like I don't want to talk about, what I'm saying, saving money and taxes and shit. I just want to kill motherfuckers on the mic, like for real. Like sometimes that's all I want to do. But I think because I'm older now, I felt more comfortable saying, okay, yeah, let's do this with this song. Let's add this. Let's do this. So I think I had more input with these songs. It may not be as far as writing full hooks, but I think I had more input in selection of beats, in selection of actual words, not to say, not to use. And I think also one of the things that happened with this project that hadn't happened before, both of us felt comfortable with taking, and we've been together, for a very long time as partners. We had that 17-year hiatus, but I don't think we ever felt comfortable with telling each other about what not to say in our rhymes, because that shit was like blasphemous back then. You don't let nobody write your rhymes, and you don't like no. But I think the fact for me, when we did Dream Still Inspire, Rob, Aaron, I watched Ye take everybody's input that was in Wyoming and make Ye. I watched it. And I thought that was the dopest thing, because how can you be this producer, right? How can you be at this status and be okay with having everybody have this input? But then you think about it, when you think about it on the other end, you're like, okay, all of these different opinions made something beautiful, because right now today, Yeah is my favorite Kanye album. Because I watched all of these people from all of these different facets of society. We used to have these meetings on the ranch where we just talk about politics, religion, spirituality, all these different things. And every now and then you'll hear him say bar, cha 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 on his phone, bar, cha 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 cha. And I thought that was genius, pun intended. I thought that was genius, but I would have never even thought about doing that before. Because when you're writing and you're creating something, it's solely your baby, right? And even though people get credit for it on the back end, back then you don't want to say this person wrote this for me or this person did this. And this is not, so we didn't write for each other. Oh, I'm getting back to the art project. We didn't write for each other, but I think it put me in a space to be okay if RJ said, EP, you got to be more light on that hook, because I'm kind of rough. You got to be more light on that hook. And he went on and said, can you sound more feminine on that hook? You know what I mean? And then I might have growled a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I did it. And then after I heard it, I was like, oh, okay. I see why I needed not to growl and actually purr. You know what I'm talking about? So I thought I think that this album more so like Dream Still Inspire matured me, but you're able to see the maturity from me in the art project.
There are more than a few moments on the art project that have really stuck with me since I started listening to it. And the first one I want to talk about is Bar Louie, and the way that EP is rhyming on this. Just incredible.
It's what I love to do. Like that go back to the
yeah.
This is not a drill, active shooter on the premises. I'm everybody's nemesis. This is what the premise is. Imageless mimicking, y'all wear the same uniform. I am an anomaly, you're witnessing a unicorn. Not the test you took before, nothing like you took me for. Culture killing robots, I am not the droid you're looking for. In fact, I am the opposite. Conversation riveting, a decorated novelist. You are only scribbling. I step into your settlement, rocked you to the sediment, or igneous idiot, geology professorness. Yes, I am a pestilence, something to be reckoned with. Dookie on your catalog, you don't know who you're messing with. Antagonist, aggressor, you are in the midst of this splendor of the sun. Don't be mischievous, Icarus. Stick to the gibberish, immature lyricist. You are all humorous, proof that I am ticklish. Bird brain featherweights, I'm drowsy from your pillow talk. Slept on, undefeated, I just let the zero talk. Who you taking lessons from, cause you an awful student. Guessing language barriers, cause you are not that fluent. You don't speak the languages that true of see vernacular. I've never been a biter, but the throw game is like Dracula. Spectacular, cut above, Hall of Fame inductee. I'm too cold, bipolar. Hate me or you love me, so love me.
When you were just talking about like sometimes you want to get on the mic and just eat motherfuckers up, you did.
Yep.
You did. You did. And I imagine that, you know, part of you always channels this energy every time you're on the mic because of what this means to you. But it just feels like there's a very particular power behind these bars and the other ones you rhyme throughout this new project. So
Can I tell you why?
Yes, please.
So most of the time, Old School finishes rhymes before me. And for me, it's a challenge. Like, I'm like, it took me a long time to write Bar Louie. You remember that, Gree? It took me a long time to record Bar Louie because Gree kept saying, no, you need another bar. You need another bar. You need 5 more bars. You need 5 more bars. And I was getting pissed off sitting in his kitchen writing. I was angry when I wrote it. So I think that's part of the ferocity. But those are the type of songs. Yeah, I guess there's some emotion shit. Those are the songs that make me feel good. That make me feel like all of the student loans paid off, all of the degrees. You know what I'm saying? Because the wordplay, I don't want to hear anything that don't sound like that. Honestly, like those. That's what get me fired up. Those type of tracks. Because if you listen to the track, Rob, what else can you do on that? Like, what else can you do on that Bar Louie track? You talk about raising kids, saving your mama, and all. Nah, that ain't that type of track.
Yeah. I wondered, like, just listening to this energy, like through on this song, but also just throughout the album, if at any point when you were making the music that would become part of the art project, did you find yourselves in these positions where you felt pressure around proving your skills to the audience, both new and old listeners that would engage with this album?
Where you want that one?
Yeah, nah, I didn't. No, you know what? No, because I at this point, I can even go back and use a little bit of what she said and kind of hammer down a point about the opinions and stuff. Notice when EP talked about the Kanye being open to taking opinions, you got to think about the people who were giving the opinions and who he were taking it from. We talking about some of the best writers and rappers in the game that was around him. And that's what that was his genius. He would surround himself around the best individuals. So when you got Pusha and, you got all these different people, I ain't got to name everybody, but everybody knows the old good music clan. So when you got all those people around, hell yeah, it's okay to take opinions, right? So, that's not the social media level of people that's just running their mouths. But with this one, the reason I say no, simply because think about our tenure. Like, okay, we had an actual 16-year hiatus because from 2000, the reason people sometimes got it wrong and they would say 16 and 19 is because we were talking about from the last time we put out an album. From the last time we put out an album, it was actually count 16 years. So I'm saying that to say, within the 16 years of not doing nothing, I was still writing. I was one of the people with the other people writing with, in the Kanye circle. So even though I hadn't wrote for myself in a very long time at that point, by the time we got to the and that was the reason why when we got to Dream Still Inspire, and EP will tell you, I kept finishing my verses so quick, or first, because I had been in these writing sessions as a part of the team helping with Kanye stuff. So, okay, now fast forward, we're at the art project right now. No, the comfort level was super. It was, again, cruise control. It was super just like, you know what? I'm not even worried at this point. Again, and RJ gets all the credit because he was actually on his producer, really, really like tinkering and making sure, and it was a high level of respect for each other in that thing because he understands who Abstract Mind State is, and he wanted to respect our legacy, so to speak, and we respect the Slum Village Young RJ legacy. So it was comfort. It was no pressure at all. Is that all that was just to say no pressure? It was more like, I think if it was any pressure, it was on myself, ourselves, or myself or ourselves to nail these points and thoughts we were trying to get out. Because some of this some of this was a little complicated, and when you hear it, it may sound beautiful, but it was complicated to get some of this stuff out. It took me a little longer on some of these songs because I'm doing some little tricky pattern. You know what I mean? So the only person I would say the pressure was probably on myself to just nail it.
Yeah.
For me, it was pressure. I always want the next thing I do to be better than the last thing I did, right? So it took us to do 5 songs. 5 songs. I remember 5 songs before I said, okay, this could be better than Dream Still Inspire.
Oh yeah,
Honestly,
I
like
remember
honestly,
that. Yeah,
Gree was already
yeah, I was
there, but
already in it.
it took me 5 songs because like I put the pressure on myself as far as writing. I'm not a quick writer. I'm not a quick study. I have to be immersed in beats. It takes me longer. And so like I wasn't hearing it. I wasn't hearing it. It was no knock on the production, no knock on the song themes and topics. It was no knock on that. It just wasn't there for me. So like after the 5th song, I started hearing a trend, a pattern, a cohesiveness. And I'm like, okay, because at first they were just sounding like different songs, because no track is the same. RJ, like, listen, they come together as the album, but listening to them individually as being made, to me up here and in here, there was no cohesion. So it took 5 songs for that to be a thing for me. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is moving in the right direction. This could be actually doper than Dream Still Inspired. So that was my pressure, like trying to write better than, something better than the Brenda song. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yep.
I want to go back to Bar Louie for a second. After reading EP's thoughts about the album, where you likened it to the moment when, as art students, you finally get to showcase what you've been working on to like the whole class. I found the presence of one of your former college classmates on this. David Banner, it goes all the way back to the days at Jackson State in Mississippi and the stew pot stowaways. What was it like to get him on this track?
Man, you know what? I knew, put it like this. I'll be straight. Okay, so I'm an A&R, and my ears are a little different. I be hearing songs. It's almost like I guess, really good A&Rs is kind of similar to construction workers or architects. They can come into a condemned space and already see it finished. So I come into these spaces with the music and I can already hear it finished. And for me, features aren't just random. Features, it's your vocal tone, it's your energy, it's what in my head, based on your past work, what I feel like you can do. And straight up and down, right away, E.P will tell you, Young RJ will tell you. I was like, Banner should be on this. I felt like he should. I did. But I felt like he should be on it. But in the spirit of something I learned from Young RJ, this was something new for me because I'm so used to curating the curating the feature, right? That I'm like, okay, we want you on this song. We want you on this song. Well, RJ, from experience, he kind of taught me that, a lot of times you got to give some of these more experienced artists more options than one. So although I had my fingers crossed for Bar Louie, I actually sent him 3 songs. And he just and that's why this is where me and RJ get to crack jokes, because I get to stick my chest out and talk my craziness about me being the best A&R ever. I just it'd be silly and me and my fun boasting. I'm like, I told you I'm the coach, because Banner picked the song that I felt like he should be on without me even saying I want you on this one. I just sent him 3 by suggestion of young RJ. I sent him 3, and I just was like, had my eyes closed and my fingers crossed that he would choose Bar Louie, and he did. So, yeah.
Well, what did he choose first?
He tried to be on. Yeah, I forgot it was. He tried to be on Feature Presentation, but Feature Presentation is like the opening of the album. That's like our first song, and on some hip hop. It's like almost like it's a play. It's not a real hip hop rule, but you want to establish yourself first. You want to come out the gate. It's just me and EP. We coming out the gate setting the tone for our album. You know what I'm saying? And then it's whoever after that, but we got to set the tone. So I told him, I was like, man, nah. I said, nah, Banner, that one. He was like, what about this feature? I was like, man, that one is starting the album off. So we definitely wanted to just be us on there. And then he came back with Bar Louie. So he had 2 more to choose from after he couldn't get on that one.
Hypophoria is a track that immediately stuck out to me when I listened to the art project for the first time. It starts with Gree asking if he can pass the torch, and it feels like by the end of the song, you all have done this, and you're giving your blessings and words to advice to hip hop's next generation. What I like most about this song is how intentional it is. The conversations you're having throughout it are done in a way that really creates space for growth and partnership within the culture. And like EP says in the song, this is a conversation that's been needing to start. So I'm just curious, what inspired y'all to take this approach on Hypophoria, and have you had similar exchanges with the same audience off the mic as well?
I haven't had similar conversations like off the mic, because that's my authority place. Like that's where I make more sense. Like, right? That's where I make more sense. So I'm not gonna no pedestals off the mic for me. But I will say that it is intentional, and the fact that John is on it.
John Forte, that is. Let's give it a last name so they won't think John Legend. John Forte.
It speaks to what the song means. Because he's the perfect person to have on it, speaking to that topic. And I think that the conception of that particular song was dope. I'm glad that we did it. It's not even a song that I thought would make the album, because there are other songs that was like slated before that, honestly, like for real. And so with my partner, like when we went over the songs that album song, I was like, you don't want to put this over this, you don't want to put this over this. And when he explained to me the importance of it, not even based on content and who's on it, like, you know what I mean? Kind of piggybacking on what we saying, a more authoritative person, that's been doing the same thing that we've been doing in the same circles, but has more of a voice. You know what I mean? And I thought that was dope. So it made sense after that conversation to leave it on there. So I'm glad. And honestly, Aaron, listening to you and Rob talk. Because I said Aaron, I should have said E. I'm looking at your name.
No, you can say Aaron, you can say E, you can say whatever you want.
You all are exactly the audience we need to hear it. You are saying everything that we were saying, conceptualizing the album. Sitting up with young RJ, talking about what we wanted this album to mean and what we wanted people to get out of it. This is the exact audience.
Mm.
I feel like I get to say this now. First of all, about 2 questions ago, I wanted to just jump in and say, damn, y'all really asked some great questions. And the reason I'm going to say that, and speaking of what EP said, the reason I feel she would say, you're the direct audience. You know what it is? You all actually are doing what's been missing in media for a long time. And that's just good journalism. Because we get this quick, again, back to that other thing we were talking about, no experience, and it's just a bunch of people starting podcasts or a bunch of people starting, music websites or magazines, and they don't even fully listen to the music that they're reviewing. So you all are doing. This is just like a kudos moment, y'all. I've been loving the questions first of all, and you can tell you all actually listen. Again, that listen thing keeps coming up. And Hyperfora, I wanted to say something about Hyperfora. Hyperfora is dope. It's dope that you all said that. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of people talk about Hyperfora and it make me smile every time they do, because for whatever reason, call me crazy or stupid, but I didn't think people were gonna talk about it because it was so meaningful. I was like, oh, they don't want to hit it. And John Forte, shout out to him, because he was one of the first people to jump on the album in terms of features. And it was only because John Forte liked Dream Still Inspired. And he was really showing love, and to the point that me and EP got on the phone again, we started questioning, was this really him liking these things about Dream Still Inspired and making these comments? And I was like, well, he got a blue check, EP, so I think it's really him, blah, blah, blah. And I just took a chance and said, hey, man, we big fans of your art, of your your artistry. And it's a total honor that you dig in our album. Maybe one day we can work. And he replied like, I'd be up for that. So I kind of just put that in my back pocket. And so we had to sit on that for a couple years. And then, like EP was saying, when Hyperfora came up, it was like he was this is the time to use that let's pull this card and see if this favor is real. And he showed up. I mean, when I say showed up, another thing I learned too with this one, because it's how long some artists take to get the song back to you. If y'all not recording it in the same studio together, how long they can take to get it back to you. Well, let's just say that brother John Forte, shout out to him. He got that thing back in a matter of days. It wasn't even a whole week. The song turned around with the verse you're hearing, which is excellent. So, I just want to give John Forte his flowers, because he's an incredible MC who made an album me and EP couldn't stop listening to during his run with the Refugee Camp All Stars. Look at you here back there. That poly side.
For real. For real. That voice,
that voice. Oh man.
Them patterns.
Oh man. Come on, John Forte.
That boy said, what are we if not blessed?
Come on.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That thing come on and said, what are we if not blessed? Right, I'm like, okay, that voice. If you not smooth, he gonna smooth you out. He gonna smooth you out.
And for the people that's listening to us now, that's probably like, what the hell is Hyperfora? Well, Hyperfora is it's a word that means to it's a style of speaking when you ask a question and answer it. So if you notice, each one of our verses, we pose the question, then we go on to answer it. So that's a Hyperfora. And and that word I learned it's pronounced two different ways. It can be Hyperfora or Hypophora. So it's either way is right. So, but anyway.
Well, I'm glad I pronounced it one of the ways right.
Oh yeah, I know you got it. You locked in.
All right, or but and just side note, thank you for everything that you said about us. Like that, it means a lot. Yeah. So thank you.
For sure.
Some of the interviews are like some of the same questions. But like our last few interviews, we've been getting surprisingly good surprises.
That's good.
Good surprises. Like, oh, nobody's ever asked this. What? Okay, let's get into it.
I'm grateful for the kind words, and I will add that I feel a little bit like EP. E and I talk about this all the time. If people just could discover us,
let's help each other.
Yeah.
They might actually like what's going on.
Yeah, guys, you all put it like this. Me and EP, we get a couple of questions here and there where we go, it's been some good questions. You all have not asked one question that we ever been asked. Every one of your questions has been
not one.
Every one of y'all questions have been very different.
Not one.
We better stop. We're ahead.
I know. Now I feel the pressure.
Look, my bad.
I feel like you all walk a fine line with this album, and I think the same could be said for Dream Still Inspired, but you're clearly interested and sharing like some of the wisdom and experience that comes with age and endurance in this game. And tracks like Hypophora and Perilous Rotation come to mind. But you find a way to do it that doesn't come off as like preachy. It isn't you down your younger artists, but instead comes across as encouragement. And I really respect that. I wonder what has inspired you or equipped you to kind of walk this fine line.
Man.
So I would say when people like music is something that's supposed to calm, move you. Everybody don't, when you leave work, you don't want more work. When you leave school, you don't want more teachers, right? You want something that if it is something that you can learn from, like let your subconscious ease into it. Don't just stand on the thing, you don't just stand on the podium and tell me what to do. Let me immerse myself into the art, and if it's good enough, then that stuff's going to resonate anyway. It's going to happen anyway. It's going to be organic. Like, and we still try to keep it light and fun. Like, but what is it if we not, if it's not knowledgeable, right?
Right.
We still want to heal people. We still need to be healed, right? So we're not only speaking to people, but speaking to ourselves as well. So you speak words, to life, that whole thing. So it's also like you have all of these different things up in my house, affirmations and things like that. It's just the same with the music. When you're speaking to people, you're also speaking to yourself. So it's not about like always hammering it down and being so harsh with it that it turns people off immediately. But if they could sit with it and with the music and the vocal tones and like just not be so turned off in high vibrations, not low vibrations, and just come back to it and say, hey, you know what, this is pretty cool. You might not get what Hyperfora is telling you. You might not get what Perilous Rotations is talking about the first time out. But I guarantee you, if you hear Perilous Rotations, you're gonna go back and listen to it again. And then that might be the time when you discover, oh, he said what? Oh, okay. Now you start to teach, right? Because maybe they didn't get it the first time. And that's the repetitiveness of learning, right? Maybe they didn't get it the first time. Maybe they won't get it the second time. But as long as you can keep them coming back, and you've given it enough to make them want to come back and be like, that's pretty cool. I want to relax today. I want to work out. I want to drive. This is what I want to listen to. And I think that that's what makes it not preachy, Rob. The fact that the tone of the entire album is not harsh, it's not demeaning, and it's like learn at your own peril. Like, you know what I mean, learn at your own peril, but if you don't learn anything from it, you'll still like it because it's still dope outside of the lessons.
Just piggybacking on that, I just wanted to say some of the best teachers, it made me think about as I was listening to her answer, that some of the best teachers were the teachers that you didn't realize you learned something. Like it's almost like they didn't sneak teach, but it's just their style was so cool that it didn't feel like you were being taught until you like, oh, wait a minute. Oh man, I picked up a jewel. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we approach our music. And one of the things I think about, back when I was heavy into my cultural reading, one of my favorite authors was Dr. Naeem Akbar. And I just remember, I'm a paraphrase, he said something to the effect of, I don't consider myself a teacher. I call myself a student because I am always learning. And I thought that just really impressed me and made him become one of my favorite artists when it came to like my cultural reading. But when I say that, I think about the art project. We like EP was saying, just piggyback. We are forever students. So a lot of the stories we were sharing, it was like stuff, all that stuff we went through. Like it was our own personal story. So instead of coming down on the listener, like, don't do this, don't do that, you're a terrible person. No, we would be like, man, we went through this. And maybe if you take a different route, maybe you won't go through what we went through. So it kind of feels like you guys were saying, it kind of feels like easily digestible because we're not really, like EP was saying, we're not slamming that thing down trying to push it in your mind. We just easing it in there real smooth.
So because see y'all, this is an interesting segue because we're about to go in the other 30 minutes. To me, that speaks to the difference between Brand Nubians and Public Enemy.
Mm.
You
Oh
see what I'm
yeah,
saying? They were
that's
literally
true.
saying the same things.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
literally saying the same things. But Chuck was might have been too hard for some people to digest,
He
right?
scared some
But when
folks.
you listen to Lord Jamal saying it and Grand Pooh saying the same thing, you look at these boys. These boys got these low on. They looking good. They got locks. But they were saying exactly the same thing.
Oh yeah, more on that later. I have some thoughts on that.
Tenfold, tenfold.
So for what it's worth, I think this is your best work to date, the art project. It sounds, of
Wow.
Thank you,
Wow.
thank you for
Wow.
that.
course,
Like,
happy to
man, that's great to hear somebody say that. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm happy to be able to say that to you. As we've been talking about, it sounds natural and organic. You just sound comfortable, confident. It all just sort of comes together. The fact that y'all are still at this, still making music together at this stage, I think on its own is inspiring. Like all the more so that you're making some of your best music in your career. What's the goal at this point? When you set out to record a track or an album, what is the measure of success?
Well, at this point, we really want to take this to a tour level, like you know, and it's a blessing that we kind of became part of the Slum Village family because they are a career touring act. That's what they do. They are, and that's what we want. So I personally feel like we have two great pieces of work that actually, if the dots connect and the things that's being done on the back end, if everything connects in a perfect world, this can become our moment to become a touring act similar to our brothers Slum Village, you know. And that's my personal goal at this point in doing the music, to get the music to a point where, you know, it can take us around, because we got a chance, we got spoiled, we got a chance to experience seeing the world do, you know, performing our music to a worldwide audience. And that was different. That was something we always wanted to do. You know, it's different. It's a difference between saying that's something you want to do and actually doing it. And once we got to experience it, it's kind of addictive. You want to share your art with not just where you're from. You know what I'm saying? And when I say where you from, I mean the United States. You know what I'm saying? You do want to take it to places that you never even thought you would see, and you're there because of the music. So yeah, I would say, for EP, it's to the touring, man. That's what we're working to
So
create
for me,
songs.
yeah, for me it's touring too. I think for different reasons though. Like I think touring has always been our dream. Young abstract mind state, mad skills type. That's all we ever talked about, how huge and how dope it would be for us to go overseas and see the world doing something that we love to do. But for me, it is definitely touring and it's performing. It's actually the only part that I still enjoy. It's the only part of music, my music and hip hop that comes from me that I enjoy. And the physical part of it, the logistics part of it, going to all of these different countries is wonderful. It's wonderful because some of these places I never even wanted to go. They weren't on my bucket list. I didn't want to go to Poland. That wasn't my place. I never wanted to go to Poland, but Poland is huge with hip hop, right? It's huge, and I definitely would like to go back. But my reasoning for wanting to go is that I have found no other part of my life that gives me that immediate reciprocity and gratification that I get from the crowd. It does not happen. You can get pats on your back at work and you can get, awards and statues and all of that stuff at work, but the crowd response and the back and forth is so immediate. And it means so much to me that when we just did a UK, we did like a week and a half leg at the UK. I told my therapist, I said, that's enough to fill me up until the tour in November. You know what I mean? And when we did the full tour, 33 days, 34 days, however long it was, the full European tour last year, like that filled me up to that point. I'm like, this feels good in here.
Mhm.
More, not my body. I was tired as hell. Like, what I'm saying? But like it made me feel good for that immediate gratification and the support of people who have no stock in your life one way or the other. They have no reason to like you. They have no reason to care about what you're doing on the stage, but yet we're good enough for that to happen, and it translates, and that's what it means to me. So it's actually touring, but it's not the touring for the sake of doing hip hop. It's the touring from what I get back.
As we've been discussing, you all have had quite the journey in hip hop. It's pretty clear that you've invested a lot of time in this culture and in your craft. It feels like the last couple of years we've been getting more access to the stories that exist within this history through interviews, through the documentary you produced, and of course albums like the Art Project. So I'm wondering, what's it been like for you to share these experiences more with other people and to relive them through that retelling?
Man,
Different
it's been a
stuff comes
whole
up.
bunch of things. Yeah, it's been a bunch of things. It's been emotional. It's been cathartic. It's been exciting. It's sad sometimes because when you live it, it's the same thing that most people will say. Like when you're living it, you're not really looking at it as a story until you see it. Like since you spoke on the documentary, to see it on the screen, and the funny thing about we pay Let Us In, The Legend of Abstract Mindstate, which is actually available on what is it?
Roku.
Roku. Yeah, if you go to Roku, you can go to Music Documentaries TV and watch it. Everybody, but to see it, man, me and EP, first of all, we drove our director crazy because we wouldn't look at it before it was finished, and she wanted us to look at some of the rough cuts, and we was like, nope. We was like, nope, we don't want to see it. We just gonna have to do. We putting all our trust in you, and we was driving her crazy. And then when the final product happened, like I say, man, it was emotional. I was going on the roller coaster as the people was in the theater when we did our tour. We did like a 5-city tour with it, and I was going on the same roller coaster, and it's to this day when I'm trying to watch it or play it for people, I go through the same motion all over again because it's like I said. One thing I can say about Abstract Mindset work is it's been a long time since we created fiction. We used to have fun with a lot of fiction early on, but most of the stuff we're doing now is pretty non-fiction. It's pretty much real in our lives and what either we or our people are going through. So to see our stuff on the screen, see lives play out on the screen, it was a roller coaster ride.
I think with the documentary, when looking back at it and looking back at the careers, there's so many things that were going on in our lives then. You know how people, like, I'm sure maybe this is one of the questions that you and Rob have asked before. What were you thinking about when you wrote that? What was going on in your life when you wrote that? And the documentary did the same thing for me. It brought back to me everything, because I could say when we did this song, when we were sitting on my grandma's porch, like I can look at each part of the documentary and say where I was in my life emotionally, spiritually, and it was just for me a reminder, good and bad, of a life well lived and learned from. I feel like maybe the documentary should be a precursor to listening to anything we've ever done.
Yeah,
Because
I can agree with that.
it puts you in a space of empathy, appreciation, and this.
Yeah,
Because I think that, like, what kills you makes you, what doesn't kill you make you stronger type shit. That's what the documentary means
yeah,
to me. And I've watched it myself, by myself, and just went through the emotions and like, wow, this is where I was, but this is where I am now. That gives me a reason to applaud myself,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I made it through some things that at the time it was going on, I didn't think I was gonna make it through. And I can look back now and say, okay, if you can make it through that, you probably can make it through anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I wanted to speak to because I noticed how we're heavy on the only if it can be heard, only if it can be heard, and I wanted to speak to that in the interview so I can bring some clarity to only one, if the music would be heard if you hear us, blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the famous things about Abstract Mindstate and our roller coaster ride has been every major project that was an album that we tried to release, something happened to stop it. And that's what we mean when we say, man, if you get to hear it, because to some, they may watch the interview and say, man, they sound crazy. We know who they are. Or they got 2 albums, or Kanye did an album. What you mean y'all ain't get to get heard? No, it's like every album, including that one, something happened that didn't let, like, from our first album, the independent label we were working with, they, that was back when they used to advance the marketing dollars to the label or the production company before things got crazy. Labels learned after people start burning up millions of dollars, they start creating what they call budgets, and you work off of a budget, which you're not getting cash money. Well, back then they were getting the actual, they would advance them the budget. And that label at the time, that independent label, ran with the money. And now our project is at the distributor, and they're like, what's going on? And they thought we was a part of that. So that halted that record. Then Still Pan. We came back, we paid, let us in, then we came back with Still Pan. Still Pan, we had everything was done, everything. I'm talking about posters, all of the merch. It was almost like a perfect storm. And then right when that album was going to drop, something went wrong with the investor and no money was available. So that project stopped. Then put 16-year hiatus on an album. Now, it was some few mixtapes that came out, but those wasn't albums. That was something we looked at as total placeholders to tide you over until we can get this album out, because we still at that time thought Still Pan was coming out, and it didn't. But now we get to Dream Still Inspired. And Dream Still Inspired, we get all this. We get the most amazing press. We get two write-ups in Rolling Stone, for God's sake. We get amazing press from all of the top, outlets at the time. Some of them gone now, and then all of the attention gets caught up in everything with what Kanye was doing. And then we got swept up in that storm. Now here we are with the art project. So when the listeners, and I'm speaking directly to the listeners of the podcast, listeners, what we mean is every time you were about to get to hear Abstract on a full scale, something halted it. So it cut off a lot of our ears. So I just wanted to speak to that.
And I'm glad you did, because that was a question I was going to ask y'all. Because I feel like Abstract Mindstate should be in way more conversations when we talk about hip hop. You're not in enough, and especially considering your history. So I'm glad that you broke that down for us.
Yeah, I felt it was necessary to say that because of that. Because Sway said the same thing. I love and thank you for that, because it's very complimentary to hear that from a person interviewing us. Because and like I say, I want to bring clarity for the naysayers that's gonna say what they mean. What you mean? We ain't hearing it. Like they interviewing y'all now. Nah. Every time we was about to release an album project, something halted it and put a stop to it. So our ears did get cut off. And Steel Pan was funny because all of the promotional, what they call it, the advanced press copies got mailed to all of the outlets. So it was reviews done, and then the album never came out. So,
Well, I hope this starts to change. I hope that this interview helps, and I hope people really start to tap in. Yeah. If folks have accessed, your stories through these interviews and documentaries, and the conversations that we're having, on the podcast tonight, they know that you all met, when you were both kids in college. Right. And it just seems, we obviously don't know you that well, but it just comes across to me, and just like talking to you now, and even just like hearing you talk to other people, that you all are still very close friends. You're not just partners in this. It feels like you all are friends. And I think, in hip hop, we've seen examples of similar relationships forming around a shared passion for the culture. But ultimately, these relationships either don't survive, or they change in a way that forever alters a group's chemistry. But the opposite seems true for Abstract Mindstate. So I'm just wondering, like, in your mind, what's kept your relationship healthy over the years, and how has this connection continued to inspire your music?
I would just say that, okay, first of all, most of the groups that you talked about, the foundation wasn't built on friendship. It was more than likely the music brought them to, strictly the music. What happened with us, we wasn't a group. I wanted my goal was to help EP with her music. She was an entity on her own, and I was already in the group. So because of that, we started building a friendship. You know what I'm saying? We started building a relationship because it was me just trying to help her. You know, when you trying to, like I say, it wasn't a collective effort at this point for a few years, because we met in 90, but we didn't become Abstract Mindstate to 1993. You get what I'm saying? So that's 3 years. And then you got to add the whole HBCU college thing into it. And let's just be honest, every HBCU alumni has the same story. We come to these institutions as kids, 17, sometimes 18 years old, and we leave what's considered an adult. You leave 21 years old, sometimes 22. But whatever the measure, what happens or what takes place in the way we have to sacrifice, hold each other down, look out for each other. Again, the majority of the rap groups, unless they came from an HBCU, like I think Lords of the Underground was a college built group or something like that. But unless you came from that, that's not how it was. It was just like, however you all met, the music, you thought y'all was dope, y'all came together, blah, blah, blah. And it's some story. And it all started with the music. For us, man, we feeding each other. We looking out for each other. We stand at each other's house. And this going on for years before we finally became a group. You know what I'm saying? So I was just trying to put a little bit in the dynamic to understand even how we can both walk away from it or go on a hiatus for 16 years and it still be something enough there to even come back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's the combination of the opportunity meets, you know, the relationship, you know, and you just think about how much time that's been invested in the relationship. It was more time invested in the relationship than the music, because we took a break from the music longer than we had a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
So for me, it's business. It's definitely business, because we too old to be playing with it, right? So that's not like that's not a it's not like this is not a fairy tale like we back together type, you know, because we're different people than we were 25 years ago. Right. We're different, fundamentally different people. So when you've gotten to know a person for 10, 15 years, and then you don't spend time with them for 16, because not only were we not rapping together, we didn't see each other. We barely talked. So it was like getting to know a new person. And not only getting to know them, but figuring out if you still wanted to know them. If this is me, if you still like this person, right? Because people grow. People grow. If you are the same, if we were the same people, you know, meeting each other 16, you know, then that would have been horrible, right? So for me, it was trying to figure out, even though the call from Kanye, hey, I want to put y'all back out together again. One of the things that I had to think about, and I'm sure Olskool had to think about, was everything that we went through as a group before. It didn't work. So is this something at the age of 50? 49, 50 that we want to even attempt again, because we did it so long and we were younger then, and my motivation for doing it then was way different than it is now, and way different than it was when Kanye decided to put us back out. So for me, it was an adjustment in lifestyle. It was an adjustment in personalities, and an adjustment in trying to figure out if this is something that you know, because when you're around a person for such a long period of time, and you get to calling each other brother and sister, and then all of a sudden it's over and it's done for 16 years, you start to question your judgment. Right? You know, like, was this my brother? Was this my sister? Like, you know what I mean? So I think when we first started to record Dreams Still Inspire, I'll go back to that word pairing. We had to get to know each other again. And it wasn't easy. It's not a fairy tale. It's still not easy. It's still not easy because we're fundamentally different people. Sure. But what makes it work is us wanting to perform. We could have argued over the Thursday night show, but when we perform Friday night, It's like we slept in the same bed. No bullshit. Like it does not come off. It does not translate to because we enjoy what we do on stage and as Abstract Mindstate. So it's not a tea party all the time. That's not what it is. So not blowing smoke, not gonna do that. It's not a tea party, but it's a fundamental coming together, melding of minds that's Abstract Mindstate. We're two totally different people. We don't even think the same outside of this t-shirt. We're when we are together, when we have these t-shirts on, we're one. But other than music, we our common interests are there, but they're few and far between. Gree has a life in music. Music is what's gonna always be his thing. It's not mine. I'm not a kid. I'm not that kid that was like, oh, have rap will feed me. Like feed me, but it's not have rap real travel, have mic real travel. It's not that for me anymore. But I love performing so much, and I love the energy that Abstract Mindstate produces. So for me, that, and it goes back to the other question you asked, like what makes you still do it? That performing.
Yeah.
That's what does it for me. And I love it so much. And I hope that the art project does so well that the tour in November, the European tour is something that's just just happens. It's nothing that we would have to put effort into doing.
Yeah.
Because it would be, we actually, this UK leg, Aaron and Rob, we actually performed a lot of the songs from the art project, rave reviews, excellent responses, all awesome back and forth. So I would like to perform the entire album. I would like to, because if those few songs that we did perform from the art project did so well, I would love to see how the entire album does.
Well, selfishly,
so prayers up for that, y'all pray we get to go on this tour in November.
Yeah. Well, selfishly, I'm in the UK, so I'm in London.
Hey.
I'm in Southwest London.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So selfishly, I would love to see y'all in the UK. So prayers up, fingers crossed, all that.
Hey, listen, Aaron, if you would have been out there, if we would have known you like before when we just did those 4 or 5 days out there, we would have had you riding on the train with us to Manchester. You would have had a ball, like because it was crazy. The UK is it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
the UK popping. The UK is so popping.
Yes.
And I'm not surprised that they appreciated you.
Y'all still love hip hop.
Yeah.
Y'all still love hip hop over there.
Love
and we didn't even perform in the same places that we did on the big European leg.
Yeah,
like we did the O2 and all of those, but we did it's venues that Slum had already done, but we didn't. We had never done them.
We had never done Jazz Cafe, and that was
and what's the other one? So what was Manchester? It was a popular one. Blues Kitchen.
Okay, word. Yeah. Well, I hope it happens again. I really do.
Yeah, man, I'm praying.
I hear the beat of swinging notice if my name was David Ruffin. Quick to toast an MC just like an English muffin. Don't worry about a thing because the Puba's never bluffing. I get headaches from the whack, so then I take a buffin' and I max. I wait until the opportune time and then I tax. But should I max? That is sinning is for sinners, so I guess I'm not a sinner. Beginners for beginners, so I guess I'm no beginner. This is how I spark it. Puts money in my pocket. When it comes to having pleasure, I get hard as a rocket. MC Grand Puba coming through all the residue. The songs remain classics dating back to the Babalu. My boys, I call them pop. The phones out of them jockin'. I can think of many episodes I swung in Lincoln Park. No, I'm not a phony and I got a tenderoni. Love the way she is, not too fat, not too bony. Don't drink, shake, I won't sink like a tanker. Knock the boots off a skirt in Casablanca and I thank her. Some rappers stink like Engelbert Humperdinck. Better yet, Dick Cavett. I got a bad habit similar to the girl when she's got a habit. I think with the brain and I wish behind the zipper. I'm living kinda good, similar to Jack Tripper. A landlord named Roper did a show at the Copa. When I'm finished with this, I'll be paid like Oprah. So if honey wants to act fly, I'll just play like Guy and I'm stick out your thumb and hits cause you've been cut off like a light switch. See, I'm programmed to slam with the summer, spring, or fall. Before I do a show, I get some kicks out the mall. Then I get my gear and I give Trevor a call cause he works in the barbershop right behind the mall. Other rappers try to rhyme me, but you know they got dead. To put it blunt, honey, I shrunk the kids. So bookers back off, breaking off, here comes the regulator. Bet you that's a fine night.
One for all, Brand Nubian.
Every episode, we ask our guests to choose a hip hop album that they love for a variety of reasons. And tonight we're talking about One for All by Brand Nubian. So tell us how we got here. Why are we discussing this album tonight?
Oh, man. Come on, man.
So let me start, Bree. Let me start. So when I met this guy, I met
am
him.
Still thirsty.
Yes. Listen. This guy was Don Newkirk. He had half dreads over here, fade on this side, all the beads, all the Jungle Brothers life you could stand. You know what I mean? And I was already into that. We were so into it. Wasn't even back then. All hip hop was good. Like it was so many different artists doing so many things that we gravitated towards everything, and we had that in common. We did not like NWA, we loved them. We did not like Jungle Brothers, we loved them. De La Soul, we loved them. But everybody had their own niche, right? And so we listened to everything. We used to, man, we wouldn't even eat some Fridays because we had to get the album that was coming out. We had mainly him. Mainly Green, because it was like his passion to have every cassette that was ever made, and he does have them. Like seriously, he has them all. You cannot name one. Don't sit back there and think, Rob. Think about one that you can name that he won't have, because he'll have it. He'll have it. And so, Brand Nubians, to me, I was so into like Public Enemy and Jungle Brothers. But it was like this midline for me with Brand Nubians. It's like they were both. They were both. They had the cool vibe, the whole, you know what I'm saying? Everybody dressed good, but they didn't wear black Wranglers. They didn't wear Raiders caps, but they were saying, like I said earlier, the exact same thing. And it was very rare when I would come home from break, guys, that my sister and my family would be listening to the same things that I was listening to in school. Slow Down was on rotation. Like seriously, they loved Brand Nubians, and I was so shocked because my family, like we was more, you know what I'm saying, NWA did, NWA did Brand Nubians, did Jungle Brothers, but like that was a surprise to me, and I think because they walked that line, it was so easy for me to like them, and I mean every word. Yeah, I'm still a Brand New fan.
Yeah. Brand Nubians, what they did, like, you saw me do the joke to make her laugh, and I was like, I am still thirsty, because that was like speech from Arrested Development. That was their part on Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I am still thirsty, just saying, drinking the knowledge. And Brand Nubians, man, we were on a quest at that time. Like, we were searching for knowledge, and we were reading, we were studying, we were on our history, our Black history. We were serious about learning about knowledge itself, the 5% nation, you know what I'm saying? All these things was of very high interest. And here Brand Nubians come as a group. That's all of that. They 5%ers. they super lyrical, right?
Every one of them.
Every one of them super lyrical. They had, and you remember hip hop is all about a unique voice. All three of them had these unique voices, especially Sadat X, but all three of them had unique voices. And then the coup de grace was they were fresh as hell. Like they were fresh, like they were fresh, and remember, EP hip hop was about being fresh too. That's why fashion became very important to hip hop.
I wish we had time to tell you this story. I wish I had time to tell you this story about this shirt that was in Olskool Closet, and they had a guy staying with him.
That looked like the one Lord Jamal got on that poster back there.
Yes, they had a house. They had a guy that was staying with them that was also a college buddy, and it was chicks in and out the house or whatever. He was over at the crib, and it was a party. He was playing in Gree closet, and Gree was so deaf on all his dope clothes. Gree got pissed off. Man, why are you in my closet? Randall came out of the closet, and he was like, man, I wasn't in your. He came out of the room like, man, I wasn't in your closet. with a Gordon Gartrell hanging out of a Gordon Gartrell hanging out of his shirt, hanging out of his pants. He had been in there so long that one of the shirts got caught in the hanger. So when he came out telling Greg he hadn't been in his closet, he had one of his shirts. I swear it was it's that Pooh Bah. It's that Pooh Bah got on right now, man, for real. That was nuts.
Oh man, that was so funny. That was all Brand Nubian fault. No, I'm just
that was all Brand Nubian. All
that was Brand Nubian fault now.
Yes. They were spitting that knowledge. They had the voices, they had the gear.
Yeah.
And that's what we was on. Like, you was fighting the power. But you still fight the power and dress good. You don't have to always have on black Wranglers.
That's right.
That's
right.
You were making the comparison to Public Enemy earlier, right? And things that I think is kind of powerful, just as an observer, kind of powerful about Brand Nubian is kind of addressed on the song "Wake Up." Like at the very beginning, they're talking.
Yes.
Puba don't talk about nothing but skins. What does he know?
Right. That's one of me and Greek jokes.
Right. And Puba,
we ain't talking about skins all the time. You ain't talking about skins all the time.
Skins out. Like Puba was he was the ladies' man, and they had to open that up like that to show that Puba had to show, no, I got knowledge of self, so
one of the things too, Greek, I just thought about it. Like Nubians had so much dope lingo that they used. They only used it. It was like they wasn't. They did something way different than everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sadat X is one of the most unique voices in all of hip hop. Like of all.
Oh no, definitely. Can't argue with you on that one. Like one of the most unique voices was always Q-Tip, but Sadat X voice is definitely even more unique because it was just the tone of Sadat. As a matter of fact,
and I would say since then, we didn't heard a couple of people that might sound like Tip. But we ain't heard nobody that sound like Sadat.
That's true. We never heard a voice. It's a couple of people. Because remember, we used to say, what's the dude he passed away, rest in peace, Magoo, that was with Timberlake.
Yeah.
He had a matter of fact, my personal belief, it was cute. That was why, in my opinion, and I know if a lot of people agree with it, I think that's why his career didn't quite take off, because that was at a time where you couldn't sound like anybody. He sounds so much like Tip that it was like the game wouldn't let him live because his natural tone sounds too much like Tip's natural tone. So cute, it didn't work out for him. But Sadat, like EP just said, man, it's not a person ever sound like Sadat. And we have been listening to Brand Nubians since when he was calling himself Derek X.
The Derek X news travels fast because I'm like that.
Not the righteous name. Never call him
yes.
Not the righteous Sadat X alive.
Yes.
Peace, God.
Yes. Wait a minute, Brand Nubian, what they have about 8 DJs? They went through a couple. They had a couple DJs. They had what's his name? I forget his name, slipping my mind because I keep thinking about Pooh Bah's DJ Stud Doogie, but that's not what I'm trying to say.
I think on this record it was Alamo. Right?
Yeah,
Alamo with the A.
Alamo
with the A. Stud Doogie wasn't. He died, but he wasn't.
He was Pooh Bah's DJ. When they went their separate ways, Stud Doogie was with Pooh Bah, But go ahead. I know we just took over. What's y'all question?
No. Like, this is what we want.
Because we definitely ain't talk about this before. Like,
look, we done went into our own little world. You done brought up Brand Nubians.
This is the kind of conversation we always want to have.
What was Sincere?
I think Sincere came in after Pooh Bah and after Pooh Bah left the group.
Okay. All of the names. Okay.
I was right after, like they dropped One for All, and I think Pooh Bah and Alamo and left the group, and
that was crazy. That was crazy.
I learned a story about them too. I always thought that because when we got the next album, it was a great tape. The one with punks jump up to get beat down when Pooh.
God We Trust.
Wow, Cowboy.
Yeah, and God We Trust. what I was going to say was, I don't know if you all saw the documentary or whatever, but the whole time we used to, 'cause back then you didn't know the stories because there wasn't no social media. We was like, man, why did Puba leave? Why did Puba leave? Da, da, da. But it turns out that Puba actually was solo from the beginning and did the Brand Nubians to help put on Sadat and Lord Jamar. So Lord Jamar and Sadat he was giving them a good look to make sure they got on. And all he really did was go back to his original plan, which was to do his solo album. But of course, we didn't have social media.
We want them three.
Yeah, we was like, what happened? Where's Puba? You know what I'm saying?
Lord Jamar had that voice too. He had one too.
He had the super cool voice.
Yeah.
When I rain rhymes poor.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
No, I want to go back to this real quick, but I love what we're talking about when we're discussing Brand Nubian and how there were so many layers to them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as Black people, we get pressure to live inside whatever our box is. Like,
Bingo.
you can't be fly and political. And I can't be fly and say fuck the police. Like, let's talk about it.
Right.
Bingo.
Right.
And I appreciate that about them. And, I love that they sort of knew coming into this that people probably weren't going to take them seriously, but, they did. And I think it's because they addressed it directly. But I just really appreciate that about them.
And I think that's a tribute to 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
Like for the same reason all of those voices are different, all of the voices are the same now. That's the saturation. Right. Like, I don't know who I'm listening to. Somebody, baby, big baby, little baby around the corner. It's somebody. I don't know. No, honestly, I literally. So my oldest aunt from New Orleans, she's here, her and her husband, and so we did a big dinner yesterday, and so my nephews were playing somebody, and I actually liked the song because of the hook, and it goes all my life.
Oh, that's
to bring me down. Okay, so
that's Lil Durk featuring
when he started
J.
rapping, I love the hook, but when he started rapping, he sounded like everybody else.
Right.
To me.
Right.
And so I found myself asking who he was, and back then you didn't have to ask who nobody was. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Everybody sounded different, even if they were in a group. You knew which actor it was in the play, So
you knew Puba. When Puba opened his mouth, he was like, we like
that's
Puba. Oh, that's Jamal. And it used to be so dope to hear any one of them on somebody else's record. It was exciting to hear Brand Nubian on somebody else's stuff. Man, that's the dot on there. Features was so powerful back then.
Oh my God. Oh, because it'd be a surprise.
Yeah, such a surprise.
Because the videos came out later on. Like, it should be a surprise. You got to make the song popular to pay for the video. It did hit. Now you're just dropping videos. You're just dropping visuals is what they call it. Like, but yeah, I had no problem, and still today, because when we went through a lot of different people, but when we started reading, we was like, they chose everybody. Everybody's already everybody. So we came up like nobody did Brand Nubians. What? Okay.
Yeah, Brand Nubians, man. So, but go ahead, y'all go ahead, like all for one. Yeah.
Yeah, one for all. I hear the beat is swinging over if my name was David Ruffin.
What's the toast of MC just like an East muffin? Don't worry about
a thing because the Puba's never bluffing.
I get a headache from the whack, and then I take a buff, and then I'm ax.
And I wait for the opportune time, but then I tack. But should I max?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead. Ask some questions.
My God.
Yeah, y'all are doing what we want to happen during.
Man.
gotten to the point where we don't prep a lot of questions for this part of the show. We just like people to talk about.
Hey, y'all want to hear EP go crazy? Y'all want to hear her go crazy?
Oh,
Watch
no,
this.
my God.
Watch
Don't
this.
do this.
Watch this. Who could get busy like this, man?
Them say who can get busy like
Remember
this.
that was Puba's
Did
solo
the
on that
search-
album.
Yes.
EP used to
Grand
go
Puba is the
crazy
one
over that
make them
joint.
slim girls have a ball.
Oh, we.
Oh my God. Oh God, you know, boy.
See?
Oh my
I remember.
Them say who can get busy like this man, and if them search the whole land, them not find a man. Uber is the one that make them fly girls have a well, yeah, but the MCs them not scare me. Me versions say me can't wait to hear me. You want it done right, then give Grand Puba a call. Now let me get busy on this. See, brothers be wishing, that's why they're eager to listen. Trying to do me, but see, there's no competition. Grand Puba's the type to get hyped to any funky sound. Never the type to give a damn about a hand-me-down. Papers and rhymes are mine a stack high like lumber. If Hun wants to swing at, she takes my beeper number. The skills go back to the days of flipping coins. Past time reading books by my man Donald Goins. But I'm not a pimp and I don't walk with a limp. You can stand on the game, cause I know how to treat a dame. So knock 3 times on my ceiling if you got the feeling. Grand Blue is good for sexual healing. Lord have mercy, this is lovely, I'll say splendid. Puba's on the stage and I'm glad you all attended. Rhyming to the beat is the way I make my money. I buy sweets for my sweets and no sugar for my honey. Brothers get paid for their papes. And if my stunts try to play me, I'll hang on like some drapes. Puba's the man and you can't run the flame, so take it elsewhere, my dear.
So Greedem had a car. Greedem had a car. It was called the Hoop. It was a blue Granada.
Yeah,
light blue.
Sky blue. At that.
Sky blue, not pimp teal. Sky blue.
Sky blue. Ford Granada.
And listen, tape deck worked great, better than the car ran. The tape deck worked.
Yeah, it did.
Oh my God. We used to play everything, riding to the yard. Oh my God.
Brand Nubians got heavy rotation.
Heavy roll. I'm listening to it in my head now.
Did y'all ever run into them over the years?
You know what? Okay, we got a story. Want to hear it? Here
got a story.
Let's go.
We didn't get to perform or run into Brand Nubian. But we did get to actually perform and do a show as the opening act for Grand Puba. How about this one for hip hop? For Grand Puba and Tupac.
What?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Was it Tougaloo? It was at Tougaloo?
Yeah, it was at Tougaloo. So he said, let's go. Okay, so here's the story. So we had a manager. We call him Q, affectionately call him Q. That was his nickname. His name is Armis Moncure. His really close buddy was the SGA president at Tougaloo College, which was like down
the
North
street
Jackson.
from Jackson State.
Yeah, it was like North Jackson or wherever Tougaloo, whatever. But Tougaloo College. And they had a concert on their campus in their like gymnasium or whatever that was. Mm-hmm. And they had Puba and Tupac of all people was the headlines, and we were hot in the city, and our manager, he had the relationship with the SGA president, and he proposed to let my group, and at the time we were called Mad Skills. It was another guy with me and EP had a configuration similar to Fuji's and Indiggable Planets. It was two guys and a girl. Yeah. And so
y'all get some history today, E.
Yeah, y'all about to get some history.
I'm so glad I asked that question. I'm so glad.
Oh, and how about this? It gets gooder. That's my joke word, gooder. It gets good. Watch this. It was a dude in the stands because Thud Doogie was trying to help the sound man get the sound right, because something was going on with the sound before show. The lights fell on in the gymnasium, and so Stud Doogie came over there trying to sound man. And all of the art, Tupac and the crew, everybody crowding around because everybody trying to help figure this out. And the dude was drunk in the stands, and he was like, "Why don't y'all let the sound man do his own job or whatever?" And then Tupac, "Man, won't you shut up and mind your own business?" And said, "Won't you shut me up?" Oh man, Tupac,
yes, you told Tupac, "Why don't you shut me up?" You told Pac, "Why don't you shut me up?"
Yeah, He jumps up in the bleachers. Literally jumps up because he didn't go up to the bleachers. He tried to jump there. He grabs the all he can get is his ankle, and he's trying to pull him through the blisters. And it was a group. We knew this because we would, and we called it. We was, I bet you that's a group. I bet you that they're a group. It was a group of guys with him. They had embroidery on their Carhartt 3/4-inch Carhartt jackets on the bottom said Thug Life. This well before Thug Life, the group before the Tupac, Life and the Outlaws. None of that's happening. And they had Thug Life, and we was like, I got you their group. And later them ended up being like the Outlaws, something like that. But they had the Thug Life thing tatted on. Not tatted. Embroidered on their Carhartt. So check this out. It gets gooder. They could calm Pac down. He go crazy. The security then came out. Now it's looking like they're about to shut down the concert.
Yes.
Out of all the people who can come Pac down, for whatever reason, I'm so afraid that we're gonna lose this opportunity. I went over to Tupac myself and I started talking to him. And
we need this.
Like I was like, Pac, listen. And he was like, no, he think I'm a punk. This nigga think I'm a punk. I was like, Pac, we know you not a punk, bro. And this is what I said to him. Because I had EP them sitting over there. They looked, all my crew there. We ready to get out. We had our dance there. And I said, Pac, man, we your opening act. This is what I said to him, E. I said, we're your open act. I said, you can tear this gymnasium up because you in Mississippi, bro. You going to leave and you going to go back to Oakland or wherever and do a show, and you're not going to care about this little school in Mississippi. I said, but this show means everything to us. And Pac just looked at me, squinched his eyes, and he just calmed down and just walked backstage. And all the thug outlaws who was wearing the Thug Life jacket, they was like, man, what you say to him? What you say? Because couldn't even calm him down. And I just kind of shook my head because it was like a lot of intense. My heart we was upset. I didn't even just kind of fan them off, man, whatever. But the show went on. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to open up. We were the opening act for Tupac and Grandpa, and I know the point was Grandpa. So but Grand Puba didn't show up that night, and we were out there, man, and they were showing us out because we held the show too, and then it felt so good. Remember, we got off stage and how they was telling us how good we were, how that like cause we shared a little backstage area.
We got a lot of shows after that because of that.
Yeah, because of that, and remember Mo. He was trying to hang out with us tonight. Alamo was like, I want it out. I want to hit the cup. And it didn't work out. He didn't end up, but he wanted to. But that was a great night. Alamo and Puba gave us a lot of that night. And I actually stopped Tupac tearing the damn place up.
Yeah, that would have been something different.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. True Hollywood story. True Hollywood.
Yes, true Jackson stories.
Got any more questions after that?
Look. Shout out to Brand Nubian. Now.
Yeah. Brand Nubian.
Look how he looking.
That's an incredible story. Thank you for sharing
that.
You know what?
Honestly, I don't even think that one ever came up.
You know
Did
what?
that one ever come up?
Funny. Look, as I was in there, I said we shared that story.
I don't think we ever talked about that one.
Like ever.
That just goes to the depth of your questions, E and Rob.
See, there it is.
Next movement.
Hey.
Exclusive.
If it wouldn't have been for old Puba, that story wouldn't have came out.
True story.
And somebody somewhere has pictures of that night. You know they do.
I know.
Somewhere.
Somebody.
I tell you better than that. Somebody, because we remember, EP, you remember, it was a dude recording. And back then, having a video camera was like a rarity. Like that was a big thing. Somebody was recording. That was, man. Matter of fact, if you watching this, please get in touch with E and Rob and get us there.
Let us get that. What you was about to say, E?
Have you ever seen if that footage is on YouTube anywhere or that performance?
Never tried, never even Right
Now
now,
we gotta
EP,
look.
this might be the first time.
See?
EP, this might be. We ain't never even talked. Like, yeah, I never thought about that. I probably is something we should Google. Brand Nubian in Tupac Tougaloo College. That's the Google.
All right. I got to look that up later.
Yeah, Grand Puba. Yeah, Grand Puba. Yeah.
Wow. I'm kind of speechless after that, to be honest. Like, that was an incredible story. Wow. Yeah. I was going to get into this, like, because this is another tangent, because another story, a story you have told, Gre, is when you battled Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That I thought was pretty fucking incredible, too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another true story,
And he didn't remember, right?
Me and Kamikaze. No, he didn't remember. But he gave me that look like, what am I talking about? With a smirk, that Jay-Z smirk that make you feel like, oh no, what's going? Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing because, like I say, people know the names. Like Kanye used to always shout out G and hip hop in his songs, and hip hop was one of the two that kind of not discovered, but they brought to Rockefeller. And they became his managers at that point. And hip hop wasn't to bust me out, just to say that he was threw me out there because Dory came out, he was just hanging out with alone, and so he kind of just threw me on a bus in front of Jay.
Wow. Well, yeah. Abstract Mindstate, this has been a conversation for the books. Thank you both for coming on. Thank you for picking this album.
Thank you guys for having us. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we'll come back. Hopefully we'll come back post tour.
Please, yeah,
right,
yeah, You're welcome anytime.
We have a new doc too. We have a tour documentary, and so it was our director that actually named our first documentary after our first album, which was we paid less in, and they added the subtitle "The Legend of Abstract Mindstate." That's the whole tour. But so in the spirit of that, when we did next one, because it was about touring and the work I have to put in, since our second album was called Still Pan, that's the name of now the new doc is called Still Pan, an abstract European experience. So you get to see us, what us and Slum, the foolishness and the fun and the work that went into like our first tour. So our first European
we had
tour.
so much. It was so much fun.
I bet it was. Yeah.
So much fun.
So much fun.
So much fun.
You know how you get nervous prior.
Yeah.
Like I told you before, I had never met Jay. And we always say, and he'll tell you too, young RJ, that chemistry of that first leg of the tour, which was the Pacific Northwest, and then the European tour, that's what led to the art project. Because it was only logical, it was only natural for that to happen. After that, like, because we were so jammed and it was so cool. What else is it to do?
Yeah. Well, I really hope y'all can get back out.
Man, we want to. You gonna see us too. When we get there, you gonna see us.
Oh, I'm ready. Oh, yeah. I will be there with my camera.
Please capture the moment, please.
Yeah.
Now we gotta come back. You there? And we gonna go live. We going live.
Right,
come on, come with it. Yeah. Before we let you go, is there anything you want folks to know about where they can pick up the art project or access your other projects that have come out previously? Any information on that? Yeah.
The art project is available on every streaming platform. And you could get all of our old projects, mixtapes included. Yep, the whole discography is on
Bandcamp.
Bingo.
Yep, bandcamp.com.
It was one time at Bandcamp.
Put Abstract Mindstate in the search and you'll get everything we ever recorded.
You're gonna get everything. You're gonna get everything.
And then I say once again, for those who have Roku TV, please go to through your Roku TV or your Roku device, go to Music Documentaries TV, and you can just pay us TV. Yeah, and that you get paid. Let us the Legend of Abstract Mindstate. One of the things like EP said earlier when was saying, if anybody we should recommend them watch documentary before getting into our music. that's one thing. Right now, someone's writing doing our Wikipedia page, and I said, you know what, you should watch the documentary first before so the spirit of what she said, that's actually happened. I was like, watch the documentary before you start running.
Yeah, for sure. All right, folks, well, you heard it. Watch the documentary, tap into Abstract Mindstate, and buy all of their music. Don't just stream it, buy it.
Now.
Yeah.
Come on now. We didn't pay. We paid. Let us in now.
Let
We're
us
trying to
in.
get this break.
That's right.
Let us get money. Time for you paid.
All right, folks, this has been The Next Movement. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace.
Thank y'all.
Gotta get on down, get on down. My state in the place we make you get down. Gotta get on down, get on down. We that 1-2 to make you get.
We bout to rock this show. We gon' move them up front. Adjust your opticals, assuming it's what you want. The music to move your body to. We watching her dropping it slow. It's only logical for heads to bob to the flow. With every particle, your being just be wanting more. And every part can't believe what it's seeing, Joe. It's all new to you. You never seen to get down. We like the fuse and you can never seem to get down. That mean we stay fly. MCing's never typical. She keep the crowd high. He is her reciprocal. Shoulder to shoulder. Everybody vibing out. That stay boogie. That's what we be rhyming about. That's what they talk about. Ain't nobody walking out. It's all love in here. Nobody's getting chalked out. But how the fever leave them throwing out, falling out. Trust and believe them. We the artists that can draw them out. Get on down, get on down. Mind state in the place we make you get down. Gotta get on down, get on down. We that 1-2 to make you get. Gotta get on down, get on down. Mind state in the place we make you get down. Gotta get on down, get on down. We that 1-2 to make you get.
We gon' make sure ain't no reason to leave. I mean, we overachieve and giving you what you need. I mean, the aim is to please. That's why we roll up our sleeve and kick a little something for the non-beliefs.